Let the dragon consume you! Enemy sighted. Stop the payload! Stop the payload! In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Birdwatcher's back at it one more time. Here's your host, Ryan and Clay. They're about to bring you some sweet Overwatch action.
Alright, that's right. We are back. And it turns out there is another OWL team in Texas.
What?
Yeah, there's a new one. It's the Dallas Fuel.
You know what? I actually fell for that.
They, it's kind of unheard of until this weekend.
Man.
They're winning some matches. So,
Without effects.
yeah, he's abroad studying, doing who knows what, recuperating, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Turns out you don't have one of the best tracers in the league. Doesn't matter right now.
No.
It's in their base. Yeah. Man, just watching Mickey play, just like a side note, watching this guy play Brigitte.
Yeah.
I get it wrong every time. Brenda Brigitte.
We're calling her Brogan, so.
Brogan, yeah.
You can't forget Brogan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You can't really say it wrong either.
Yeah. Watching Mickey play Brogan.
Yeah.
A work of art, man.
Yeah.
Work of art.
Which is funny because
in the match.
yeah,
Good.
we talk about Mickey. At least in our earlier cast, we definitely weren't in the Mickey camp.
No.
We thought he was lackluster. He had a personality that helped.
Yeah. Looks like he's having a good time, right?
Yeah, he's having a good time, but he's definitely been improving over the stages. That's everybody can see that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's gotten to a point to where he is now one of the most valuable people on that team. If not, like they can't let Mickey leave that team because you almost need that personality so that thing doesn't devolve into
Seems like
anymore.
he's the
Yeah.
guy, bringing spirits up too when things are going bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so we are on episode 14. We're in the second week of stage 4, so getting close to the grand finale, the playoffs.
Yeah, real close.
Yeah,
They're now talking about it more too.
Yeah, they're bringing it up on each game, how each game affects what you need as far as map wins, just to get to that spot. You need to get in the playoffs. So, we got any news for the week, Ryan?
Yeah, the biggest news here is what happened with the London Spitfires. So on Twitter, I believe, I can't remember exactly what, they mentioned that they are benching or marking the following players as inactive: Hygopen, Wuyal, Tizzy, and Horeg, I believe.
Yep.
Those players are now inactive, which means I think they sent them all back. They're kind of trying to help them find another team, whether that's in contenders or in the league itself. And in addition, they're not booting them from the team yet because they want to make sure that they're settled. So they're still under contract. It's just that these players won't be a focus in playoffs. They won't be a focus in anything else. They're focusing just on the 7 people they have left.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like London taking initiative here. This is something I think all the teams will eventually get to, and they're kind of sticking their neck out, doing being the first people to do it, because you never know how people are going to take this thing. These guys obviously have played in matches in the first couple stages, besides Tizzy, so you just never know how people are going to react to this kind of thing, and it's good because now these guys can look for teams, they can look at offers, stuff like that, and still practice Overwatch on their own time. So
yeah, it's very transparent, and I think that's where the value is that there's no surprises here. They came out, they said what they needed to say.
Yep.
And the cool thing is, especially on the competitive Reddit, the management was talking on there as well. They were thanking people. People were thanking them for being so clear about it.
Yeah.
People spoke their mind. They responded to why they're doing it, how they're trying to handle it, and that's smart because in any sport you have inactive rosters. That's not something that's new.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that we will probably see more of being handled this way.
Yeah, I think baseball kind of being the biggest one, right? Because you generally will send these guys down to your AAA ball team, where they can still play under your organization, right?
Yeah.
And you can still kind of look at them, see how they're doing, stuff like that. Overwatch hadn't got to that point yet, but I think a lot of teams follow suit in what London did, right?
Yeah.
So we'll probably see more of this coming forward.
Yep.
So.
And like we said, we'll probably get to that point. Like we talk about NYXL from the beginning, where they had that tight 8-man roster.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're getting to. Is you got to play around that. I think flex players are going to have more of a place now, especially in season 2, because your 2 spots, your 2 bench spots. I say it with quotes, air quotes.
Right.
Is I think that's where your flex players will sit, so that you don't have to overstack your roster for depth that you might not need. Especially now that you're going to have to be spending more money on players. That's just something that's going to happen.
Right, 12 just seems like a lot of guys. A lot of guys that are, you got 2 or 3 guys that, haven't played at all. So
I don't think we'll see a lot of 50K checks next year. I think that baseline's gonna go up.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. Right, that was the minimum, right? 50K is. What
that was the minimum for this year, and I think that will stay the minimum.
Yeah.
Just as far as workability and livability.
Yeah.
But most players are going to demand more than that, especially if you're starting to get a roster where you don't have that depth. If you have a team that has, the full, was it 12?
Full 12.
Spots filled, you might have a bunch of people making 50K, but you're not going to win a game.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of mentality, especially with no market cap. Or not, no cap as well.
Right. Hey, they can bring me in for 25.
You'll take
I'm
what
saying
you
25K.
get.
I'm saying $25 a day. A couch and some eggs. That's all I need.
What are you doing on the side, like construction or something?
Yeah. I'm
In
doing
your spare time?
a lot of painting. I can do drywall work, so it's whatever you guys need. So. But yeah, let's. You want to hop into some games?
Yeah, let's get into it. We start off the week strong, and people out there, I think we had our first caster rivalry match here.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that, but we start off with our honorable mentions as always. We have Dallas Fuel versus Boston Uprising. Boston Uprising taking it 3-0.
No.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
That was an upset. Dallas Fuel. It felt right when I typed it.
Yeah. You had it right in the notes, I think, and then, so Dallas Fuel do take it 3-0.
Yeah, man, that was something you mentioned. I think you texted me. You're like, hey, I think Dallas Fuel is about to sweep Boston.
Yeah. I think it was maybe halfway through map 1, and I could just tell the pace of the game that Dallas, all smiles, a lot of confidence there. Like I said, Mickey always smiling, whatever. But Taimu, when he's smiling, man, he's confident, ready to win these games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then he definitely posted about it afterwards.
I would have liked to see the predictions on this one. Because there's some websites that do predictions. I wonder if they
really?
They saw this go. Yeah.
Okay.
With the gambling coming up, man, it's something you got to follow.
Yeah, they need to get that started.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can start losing some money. But yeah, then we had a follow-up with Los Angeles Valiant taking it 3-1 over the Florida Mayhem, which Florida Mayhem, obviously they're kind of out of it. They made an attempt at a turnaround. It seems like that fell flat. So it looks like they're just kind of trying to figure things out towards the rest of the season. And next season, we'll see them make more moves possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in off-season, pick up some guys.
Yeah, see what happens there. And then we get to our rivalry match of the cast. Is this the first time they've played each other before?
They played early stages.
Yeah.
Sure. I can't remember what stage, but at least
both teams are in a different place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have the Houston Outlaws versus the Los Angeles Gladiators. Which, a rivalry could happen again if Clay decides to jump ship. But so far...
I would jump ship before this cast ends.
But yeah, let's hop into it. So we get on Kings Row. Kings Row has been a map that Outlaws have been doing better on lately. And here it shows. So this match was kind of interesting. I wouldn't say it was a beating. I would say it was definitely a brawl that went in one team's favor. But we started out real strong. So here, you kind of see we looked more organized, and there was a talk. I think Raucous did kind of a interview where he talked about having Kai back, and we know that Kai worked a lot with the USA team. So a lot of those guys on that team, so you have Rockets, Cool, Matt, Jake, are familiar with him. They're more comfortable with him, and now they have this kind of three coach setup, or you have like two coaches and assistant.
Yep.
I can't remember what the other coach's name is. Starts with a T. The Tyga?
It's not Tyrone, is it?
Maybe, I can't remember it specifically, but they're saying the combination of those two and then the other coach or like assistant coach that mainly focuses on stats gives them a good balance, right? And they're feeling a lot more confident, and you see that here. You see that in their play, and you see that on their faces, right?
Oh yeah.
One thing we do get from the Los Angeles Gladiators side is we now have Void in the lineup.
Yeah.
And we have him starting here over Bishu, and Void in the past has played with Fissure, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I believe, yeah, they played together before, so that's a good combination there. But yeah, so we get him this first map. That's pretty much the only change. Everything else is more standard. And then we start with Houston on attack, and you get to see Bastion, and not only just Bastion. It's not Shaz on Bastion, because that's what you expect.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
No, it's Jake. It's Jake on Bastion.
Yeah,
and it works.
Yeah, it's a cool little move. I don't think a lot of people expect it too, right? Because you need, especially because a lot of these guys are setting up at that one perch right there and breaking down that Orisa shield. Man, it's so crazy seeing people try to break the Orisa shield and it just regenerate. You know, she just puts another one down. They put a lot of effort into doing it again. Bastion, he's gonna wear it down.
Yeah. He's so essentially what they do is they go to the base of that perch, as you spoke of, and they mow down that shield while we have Spree in as well. Obviously, you want this Zarya for King's Row. And Spree's up there kind of beaming the corners, so it makes it very difficult for them to set back up, and it forces them to move back to that back perch where Widow usually snipes from. And then Houston Outlaws are able to jump on the point. It's a pretty quick cap because just off of that Bastion play alone, they get picks, and then once they're on the point, it's very hard for Los Angeles Gladiators to contest. So they take that first point fairly quickly, and then we move on to the point 2 attempt, where Jake immediately switches, which is another smart play. This is one thing that I've noticed is Jake has fallen into the hydration role very well, where he's now essentially a flex player. Everybody's like, he's forever going to be Jake Rat, but now he has enough characters and plays them well enough, even throughout this one, where it's convincing that I don't mind him playing those characters. Except the Genji. The Genji's still weird. Everything else is fine.
The Tracer's a little off, too.
Yeah, the Tracer's a little off. But yeah, so we have him in here switching to Junk for point 2. And, it kind of stalls out here until towards the cap point, until Houston Outlaws, which is very calculated. Before Fissure's able to use his Shatter, they do a grab Shatter Riptire combo, pretty much in unison right when he does his. So he burns his ult, doesn't get it off, and then they're able to take that second point, and they keep that momentum, and then they immediately switch to double sniper, right? So this is a type of flexibility, a type of play that I say, this is the strongest round we have in this match, and it kind of shows you the pinnacle of what Houston Outlaws could be, right?
Oh yeah.
Because that timing of they know what they're doing, they know why they're doing it, and they're switching when they need to adjust for that circumstance. If you can do that and continue to play well, it's a really impressive display. So I was hype here until things started to go the other direction.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we switched to double snipe. Houston Outlaws do a great job of picking off players, and there's never really a chance for Los Angeles to get a balanced fight after that for point 3, and we kind of cruise it on through, right? For a full cap there. But then we move into defense, right? So we keep that double snipe composition, which is kind of scary for me, especially on defense, right? Because if you don't have the picks, it's not going to work out. And it kind of doesn't work out here, mainly because Los Angeles Gladiators use that high ground strat. And essentially what that means is they go behind to get into that building. I guess it's like a hotel, right? Is it? Like apartments?
Yeah,
Like
like a hostel or something.
Yeah, like a hostile situation. They get up in there and they pretty much fight from that to get higher ground than Houston Outlaws have, right? Then shoot down on them. It's just pretty much battling for high ground, verticality, right? And that works out in their favor. They're able to cap it. But then on point 2, when Houston is on defense, they're able to stop the momentum with a Space Dragon combo, which isn't foreign on King's Row. You see a lot of Space Dragons.
Yep.
But Jake's Dragons are real good here.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, he gets multiple too, right?
Yeah, I believe he has 4 or 5 dragons, and 3 of the dragons get 3 kills or more.
Yeah, it's insane.
And even one of those is without the combination of it. And that pretty much stalls Los Angeles Gladiators out, and we take it. We take Kings Row. But another thing that stood out is that Spree Zarya is actually really, like, I never thought it was bad. I know it's one thing when you say this person's a Zarya specialist, but then you watch him play and like he's just outdoing everybody they play against.
Oh yeah, building the ult faster, just
very
doing a
fast.
lot more damage. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's super impressive. Did anything stand out to you on Kings Row that we can talk about?
Biggest thing just going into the offense for Houston, really good ult management. Like you were saying, their coordination looked like it was on point. Links are kind of quiet. Going in point 1 and 2, it looked like a lot more of the tanks doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But once you get into point 3 and Links are, gets all that open space, they're pushing the cart. Generally on defense, you're looking at that cart most of the time. Links is able to just get, kind of go off at this point. And like you said, Jake getting multiple dragons. Almost every single fight he's building a dragon, and Spree's almost right behind him. Just outdoing Void, just getting more, just more grabs, just staying higher energy throughout the entire defensive.
And it's an interesting situation because if I remember correctly, Void is a D.Va player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mainly
so having
D.Va player.
having him starting in his first game, he has to play Zarya. Come on, kind of what you expect.
Right.
But yeah, so we move into Hanamura. And this is a case where it's a very quick match for Hanamura. We all talk about the gate. The verdict is out if it's worse than Anubis, but you would say Anubis because you hate that map.
Oh, it's so cold.
I don't know. I still think that Hanamura gate is more difficult to get through.
Especially point 1. Yeah, absolutely. I think Volskaya easier point 1, point 2 a little shittier. Pardon my French, but point 1 on Anubis is aggravating to get through.
Yeah, but here we have Bishu come in for Void, and then we have Houston Outlaws on attack first, and we struggle. We struggle real hard. For some reason, we decide to go the Tracer route, not even a full dive comp, but they're trying to force Tracer through the gate to get in that back line to cause enough disruption. But the problem is that once Jake gets back there, he has a hard time getting back there initially. He's getting picked off at the door a good couple times.
Oh, yeah.
And when he finally gets back there to start contesting, they're able to fight at the front, either get a pick or cause enough disruption where Bishu can just turn around and go back and contest against Jake trying to get that first tick. And it never really works out, and we're a little bit stubborn, which is completely counter to what we were just showing as far as our ability to switch very quickly and to make decisions. This one kind of staggers here. It does have something to do where it's not a case where we're playing poorly. It's just that Los Angeles Gladiators are a real good team in my books, and they do show it here. There's one point on defense where Jake finally gets through the gate, and after, like, in the blink, Sureforce able to snipe him. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was insane.
That was insane. It reminds me of a snipe from earlier in the stages where Genji was dashing, and somebody was able to snipe him, like, mid-dash.
Yeah, I think this actually follows where he gets trapped. So he's coming back after getting, trapped and then bombed by a Junkrat, Hydration's Junkrat. And he comes back and he's like, well, sure enough, I can get through this at this point. And then a hard shot, man, on Tracers, especially on Widow. Yeah, he catches him in the face.
Yeah, small frame.
Yeah. It's a little girl.
Yeah. But yeah, so that puts the case to where it goes all the way till the end where there's one more fight left. But that last fight, they have to go up against the Supercharger. And it's very hard to fight with that high ground position that teams usually take with Orisa, and then having them have the Supercharger. So on attack, Houston only gets about 47% of the first point. And then one stat that comes out before Boston switches or Los Angeles switches to offense is that only 4 members did not die on the Gladiator side that whole time.
Yeah, that's
Which
insane.
I mean, yeah, you got to kill people. It's something that you see on ladder, and it's something I usually point out on ladder when people say if we're not diving, they're just like, hey, let's just run by the opponents. And I'm like, well, we have to kill them. We can run by them to the point all we want to, but at some point we have to fight them. So why don't we do that on the way, right?
Yeah.
And that's usually the result. So you see that here.
I think
yeah,
you brought up a great point. It looked like they were being stubborn, and they were trying to get by him and not contest that high ground at all. And man, we see teams do this all the time. They leave those guys up there, and Gladiators just sit in a ball and sitting behind that Orisa shield, having the Junkrat spam out of it. Man, it's so difficult to.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult to contest them, but you got to figure out how to dishevel them from that spot.
Yeah, you got to push them out of it. And that's where dive used to come in, where you kind of bump everybody off, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and you land on that Zenyatta, take him out. Yeah.
Yeah, so then we move into Los Angeles attack. Like I said, usually when you don't have to get one, especially one tick, it's very easy. And here they play towards that strength because Los Angeles Gladiators are real good at reading a situation and then playing to that. And they do that here. They just go standard dive comp. They push through the door, make it very difficult. And then Hydration has this sick triple shuriken headshot on Linkser. I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah, right off the bat too, right? He jumps up there, jumps up. He knows where he's at the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Linkser moves a little bit forward, and you hear just clink, 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 and he just drops.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team follows, and then they cap it very easily.
Yeah.
So Hanamura going to Los Angeles Gladiators.
I'm sure you've been on this point on ladder where you have defended, 100% of point 1, and the confidence is high going into 2, right? Like when you're going into attack, you just feel like, man, how can we lose at this point? Yeah, so I feel like that's what the Gladiators had to been feeling at this point. So
Yeah. Oh no, I'm missing some stuff here. I think I know how this went. So we move into Oasis, and this is a map where Los Angeles Gladiators are favored. They're better at control than we are, unfortunately. We have Ford come back in for Bishu, so this is definitely being one of those swap situations, sort of akin to how Mono and Janice are swapped, it seems. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, so round 1, we get City Center. Oh, I have the burps. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
We get City Center, and we get to remember why Shaz is nuts. Somebody actually posted the infographic for just Zen performance overall, and you look at Shaz's numbers, and you forget that even though he plays every character in the game, he plays Zenyatta really well.
That he does.
The man, he gets kills. He gets kills, and he stays alive, which is impressive, especially with the path that his team has been on, and him always having been their Zenyatta. To maintain that kind of performance throughout those stages, especially the rough spots, is important. It's impressive, to say the least. But this one's kind of a quick one. Shaz gets his 4-kill stop on Houston Outlaws. There's a point to where I think around like 44%, halfway through, where Houston Outlaws technically win the fight, and then on your right you just see Shaz's name constantly, and then the teams even up. It's like Shaz and like they have one other person and they can't contest it. And then the team comes back and then they hold it out. Even though Houston does flip it, at 99% they flip it back because they just save up ults, right? And then Los Angeles Gladiators close that one out.
Yeah, that was definitely a fight that I was like, oh, this is about to go back Houston's way. This has to go back Houston's way.
Yeah.
They had gotten so many picks. And there's, I think he might have had a tank with him. I know he didn't have another support with him. Like, oh, this is easy. Houston just needs to clear this point. No problem. But yeah, you're right. Just right-hand corner, Shaz.
So good. And then we move into round 2 Gardens, where just a general thing is that this map does go to 99v99 a lot compared to other control maps. But that's not the case here. This one's pretty dominant as well. Where, something that stands out here and the commentators constantly talk about is when you have to deal with Hydration's Pharah and Surefour's Widow playing at the level they're playing at here, it's very difficult because you're dealing with the Widow range and then you're dealing with the Pharah verticality. Yep. And then both of them are just taking people out, so you never get that even fight. And, we make one mistake that I don't know if it's a mistake, it's just a case where when teams force us to do this, it usually means they're going to win in that situation, and that's when they force Linkster on McCree. McCree's not bad, but the situations he ends up picking McCree in are usually ones where they're at a disadvantage, right? It's like he's forced to pick McCree, not because he wants to play McCree.
Right.
So Los Angeles closed out Oasis fairly quickly.
Yeah, I bring up the same thing. It seemed like they, like you said, when they're forced to go to this McCree, I've been watching Hydration, for a long time, play Farah on ladder, on stream and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really dominant. Doesn't care about hit scan. And then when you're forced to switch over to a hit scan like McCree on a pretty tight corridor map, when he gets balled up in a corner like that, it's so hard to get out of those situations where he's just, sitting at 100 health or half health. There's nothing you can do. You just feel overwhelmed because there's these big tanks on you, man. It's hard to do. And Hydration, definitely the dominant Farah in the Farah v Farah battle versus Jake, for sure.
Yeah. We see a lot of Farah v Farah battles again. It's very interesting. And we'll get to that towards the end in some other games. Yeah, so we go to Dorado, and I'm thinking, okay, how I've complained about we always go to damn game 5s. We always go to game 5s. And then we choke, right? Well, they solved the problem here by not going to one.
Yep.
So, yeah, Dorado's definitely one of our favorite maps, so I was kind of hyped. I was like, well, at least if we have to go to game 5, we, even though Los Angeles Gladiators are better at control, we have another chance, right? Everybody wants a chance. But yeah, not here. Bishu subs back in for Void, so we get that swap. And, it's a case where Linkser, that stubbornness comes back into it, where Linkser just sits on Widow, I think, for way too long. On attack, we go with this non-Brogan triple tank single healer comp, which already is a gamble. And then Raucus does do really well on Hog. I'm always impressed by his Hog because it's how do I explain it? It's like consistent. Like it's a consistent flow of action. Where he's hooking, then he's pulling, then he's ulting. He gets ult really fast as well, which is always impressive. But after point 2, or on point 2 after stall, we do a switch to double snipe comp, and then Linkser does never switches back off of Widow after we begin to get stomped. There's a whole thing where we have a problem capping. The point after that takes way too long to switch. And then on defense, LAG start getting us to this point where they keep us scattered, and we're never able to focus, right? So you have, how do I explain it? The second point? You have that big open area. They essentially keep half the team on the verticality part, and the other half on the hill, and we're never meeting back in the middle, and they just burn up all of our time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And this is a time bank of easy 4 minutes going into.
Oh yeah,
two.
It's very hard to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like you said, they just stubborn to switch it up and try to do something different. And man, I don't know about you, but I noticed Jake is quiet on Oasis. Quiet. I mean, the whole team's quiet on Hanamura. Obviously, they never take point 1, but just continues to be quiet into point 3 or game 4 here or match 4. Do you take him out? Do you do something different? I mean, as a player, if I notice I'm not doing well in a certain role, I say something. I don't know. But being a shot caller and stuff like that, it's hard to take that person out. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Just seem quiet for a few too many maps to keep him in there.
Yeah, it does. And then we get to the attack for Los Angeles Gladiators, which is almost is also a decent fight. I think we do better on defense than we did on. Yeah, it's very close. For point 1, we do a great job of protecting that back wall. So you guys might be familiar with, there's a wall, if you go up the right side of, the far right side of Dorado on attack, there's a wall that you can hook or jump over that will put you right on the point to cap in that area. And that's usually where dive comps will go to initiate fights from behind. But we do a good job of protecting that for the most part. We burn a good bit of their time bank, but they do have one dive attempt that does get through. There's also a point where, Hydration gets over that wall, dies with Blade. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then Shereford gets a 3K bomb with Tracer. And that's and that helps them clinch out that first point cap.
I actually thought this was going to be map 5. When I was watching point 1 for the Gladiators offense, I was like, oh, this is where Houston has turned it around. Not a great offense, but going into defense, looking solid. I think they hold it here if Sherford didn't land this.
Yes, because when hydration died with the blade, I was like, dude, yes. And then Sherford's just clutch, man.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so then we switch, we get to point 2 defense, which is kind of a slog going through. It's a back and forth. We do switch to a Brogan comp, which helps us out until I think the either very last or second to last attempt where Los Angeles Gladiators switch to their own Brogan, and then they have a final attempt able to get an ult in that attempt, and they just win the brawl because we know Los Angeles is better at those brawly fights than we are. We're more of a pick-oriented team. So they close it out 3-1. This is the only match that we see Brogan this whole back and forth, which is impressive, right? And that's something we're going to see throughout, where she's, anybody who's still out there complaining, she's not a win-all. She's not the cure to all things. There's plenty of ways to deal with her.
For sure.
Yeah, still a situational character.
It's funny on ladder because right when you mentioned that point 4 where Los Angeles forced to switch to Brogan, that happens on ladder all the time. Like, oh shit, they have a Brogan. Somebody on the team switched to it because they think it's like, oh shit, you have to fight fire with fire.
Yeah, I've gotten on a lot of people to like, hey, especially if comps don't fit, right? Like I've been on ladder where, hey, we have a Widow, a Pharah, a Winston Diva. Why are you on Brogan? Yeah. Like, what are you healing? What are you supporting? You don't have any, like, they're all ranged as well. So what's the plan here? And then they're just like, well, she's good. She's broken. I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
At best, you're healing the Winston and fighting on the card. Like,
exactly.
Not ideal. Yeah.
And healing yourself, which is like, okay, I can do that.
Yep.
But yeah, so unfortunately we lose. I mean, good game, man.
Yeah, it was definitely some close games there, especially after Kings Row. I was like, oh shit, Houston looks good. A lot of, like I had brought up before, really coordinated, a lot of alt management there. That was like, oh, we might not be able to beat these guys.
Yeah, but Los Angeles Gladiators also a good team. So we'll see down the road. I mean, to say down the road, we don't have much time left.
Yeah.
But I'm actually gonna look at standings here. But yeah, that closes out for that first day.
All right, so that brings us into Thursday, where we see the Gladiators play again against the Florida Mayhem, where pretty dominant. Los Angeles Gladiators 4-0.
So you're still
4-0s today.
So you're still a Gladiators fan.
Yeah, you got to after this week, right? Yeah, confirmed. I don't know, man. After watching Dallas this week, going into this league, watching these guys, always a big Siegel fan. Plays a lot of the same guys I play. I wanted to be a Dallas fan, and after this week, I might be able to get hot back on there. But I'm not going to jump ship yet. So, yeah, definitely still a Gladiators fan going into this one. So, yeah, Gladiators take it 4-0. Then we see Philadelphia play Shanghai. And Philadelphia, kind of a change of pace from last stage, where they kind of slowed down. Still pretty dominant going into this one. Take this one 4-0.
So Shanghai is still 0-34 now. I think it's the record or something like that. Oh,
I don't know what you got to do to.
Map diff of negative 100.
Yeah, I don't even know what you do at this point. You obviously are going to change some stuff up going into season 2, but. I guess you're just practicing some guys. Yeah.
Move the team.
Change names. You can't even be dragons at this point. You got to be something less intimidating, right?
Yeah.
The earthworms or something. Not very intimidating. But yeah, so we get into our feature match, Shock versus London. Do you have any predictions going into this one at all?
Sorta. Okay, so I was going off. I thought it would be. I don't know if it would be considered an upset with the way that Spitfire has been playing, with the news that we talked about earlier coming out before this happens.
Right.
I definitely thought that would be some shakeup in favor of San Francisco, and then San Francisco has been playing a lot better lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is showed. So I thought that I was like, San Francisco might pull this out.
Yeah. I kind of thought the same thing. The shakiness of the London DPS, Birdring obviously kind of hit or miss in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Just not sure, but go ahead and tell you, Birdring, he comes out this stage for sure, or this set of maps for sure.
You think he's back to 100%?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's scary. That's scary.
I think that he displayed some pretty dominant stuff, but I don't know. They're especially stage 1 where they're the champions. He was on par, I think, with some of the higher level DPS like SBB, Fleta.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still a little shaky. So we'll see going forward. He needs a big break. He needs like a good off-season break, but not quite to that point yet. So yeah, we get into map 1, Blizzard World, where London starts us off, and I guess teams just unanimously set aside. They say, hey, we don't want to see the rest of this map. Beautiful map. The endpoint, cool. It's dark. It's like a dungeon. We like that. But we'll do it on map. Point 1. We'll figure it out after that. So, London take the first 2 ticks of point 1. Bat all they have going for them. They can't figure out how to get past Sinatra on the Junkrat and the Orisa setup.
Dude, this Junkrat looked good.
Yeah, it did. It looked very, very solid. As a Junkrat player myself, hats off. Yeah, it looks solid. They run their heads into the wall over and over, trying to dive it, trying all these different, jump up on this point, and maybe we can push them off. Just too solid of bodies up there. It turns out it doesn't matter, though. I mean, they get 2 ticks off of just standing there, just uncontested. Shock, turn it around on offense, and just are not even able to get 2 ticks.
Yeah.
Which is very passive, very, not getting in the face of London. I understand that London has their Junkrat of their own, so it's kind of difficult to get in their face, but very passive. They try the same thing. They try to dive, try the Winston Diva, and I would have loved to see some kind of Ryan Zarya comp here. A lot of Junkrat spam.
Straight up.
All it really takes is one good grab, and you can tank that point. And that's really all they needed. And they consistently just tried the same thing over and over.
And the funny thing here is that, there is that point where Architect does get that headshot that allows him to get that tick.
Yeah.
And then they just don't follow up. And then they don't try, because think about it, if they got that tick and then they said, okay, let's swap to that Zarya, they could push for that extra little bit they needed. But they don't.
Yeah.
Birdring and Gesture do make it really, they're playing really well on defense here.
Oh, absolutely.
Gesture is just cleaning up kills like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like you said, the Junkrat play on the defense as well, really good for London. I just think there was a lot of opportunity for San Francisco to just say, hey, all right, it's been 45 seconds, been a minute in, easy change right here. That's all we got to do. They just never do it, and they're punished. Punished 2 ticks, man. That's all you need.
The Sinatra bomb was the other crazy part. So we talked about, you had Birdring Gesture going crazy, going ham. And Sinatra does get in there with a bomb. He sticks it to Gesture, and then Gesture backs up to Prophet, kills Prophet, and then they finish off Gesture. And then it's like, okay, just clean up this fight. And they're not able to.
Right.
Because Birdring just kind of cleans up house, and then they drop that fight, and they're still not able to get that tick. So it was weird, man. It was a weird one.
Yeah, this is similar to Numbani, right? Where the defense is spawning almost the same amount of space or time away from where the offense is spawning. So you've got to almost clear this whole thing. It's almost like a 2CB map where everybody's spawning really far away.
Yeah.
Just not able to pick it up. So London take it 1-0 there, and we get into Hanamura. Man, kind of crazy. So we start with London on the offense, and solid hold from the Shock to start us off. Architect doing pretty well on 1, and I thought this might have been another point 1 hold. London able to squeak it off. And they just steamroll right into point 2. At one point, who is it? Sleepy is nanoed. I don't know who.
Oh yeah, because Moth is on Ana.
Ana, yeah. Which is, it's a great idea because you generally against these dive comps you can sleep or what's the bomb called? The negative bomb. Shit.
The jarred piss.
Yeah. You're able to negative. It can be healed.
Yeah.
The dive from the tanks and stuff like that, and sleep him. It seemed like a great idea, but man, he nanos Sleepy, and Sleepy's like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do with this? Everybody just backs away from the point. London just waits 2 seconds, comes in, takes the point.
Yeah.
They got 3 minutes left. Just not a lot of contest when it comes to the shock there on point 2, for sure.
Yeah, but that Birdring was impressive with how he was using his Widow. And, like, that first game, he started off hot, especially compared to him off of injury, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But to watch him force Super to come deal with him, and then backing off, and then coming back, and he kept forcing the fight, like stretching it out, right? Creating that space.
Right.
And it made it really difficult for him to contest to the point to where it just they fell apart. Because not only was he creating that space, he was killing people as well. So he had to be dealt with. But they were having trouble dealing with him because of that gap they were leaving open.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it kind of feels like you're running uphill at that point too, right? When you're like, well, shit, dude, this Widow's got all this free range. Somebody go commit themselves. But there's also your guys are dying on the point. You can't really commit the resources to them. And dude, Birdring full form here.
Yeah.
So then we get into the shock offense. And the shock do start us off pretty quick. They get a quick dive and take point 1 really quickly.
Yeah. Do you think quick question. Do you think San Francisco is so stubborn with their dive because it took them so long to get it down? Like, because they took such in those earlier stages, that was what they're trying to form, was to get their dive proper. Right. And once they got it proper, I feel like they don't want to let it go, even though the meta is not 100% pure dive anymore.
Man, it's so hard to say. It seemed like because they did so well on point 1 and they did snowball into point 2 and take 2 ticks, you're like, well, it worked for a second there, but once London is able to set up, and they set up that Junkrat, they just never are able to get past that, and they didn't make the switches necessary to do it. It's going right back to Blizzard World, where you see the opportunity to take the point. You have a lot of time in the time bank. London only having 3 minutes. They get in there with 5+ minutes, a lot of time left. They take this. They got a big leeway on London. And, just run their heads into the wall over and over.
It was hard to watch, man, because it's a long time. Like 6 minutes, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like watching these kind of things half the time.
Yeah.
Because you're like, dude, what are you guys doing, man? It's so aggravating. And a lot of these teams, and we see it later in the week too, where they'll just try the one way. And I know Hanamura is kind of this one-dimensional map, especially on point 2, where everybody's like, all right, go up top. Maybe we can get some picks.
Yeah.
Maybe not. And they, London just never able to get some picks. So.
Yeah, and it's cool because, we get to see, like, Spitfire do a great job of adjusting here because they get blown up on that first point like we talked about.
Yeah.
They use the Brogan off-tank composition, which doesn't work to stop that, San Francisco dive, which probably kind of worked into their ego of them sticking to it so much. But immediately, once they do the point 2 defense, they swap to the triple support version of that Brogan comp. And it works a lot better. And San Francisco take way too long to see it. And then they try to mimic that the last 2 minutes, and it's already too late.
You get Sinatra trying to switch over from the Tracer over to the Brogan, like you had said. And, it's just too late. Just too late to mimic the same thing. So, London able to hold point 2.
Quick 2 games.
Yeah, quick 2 games. And it's going to be... if they don't win this next one, man, it's kind of hard to watch. So, let's see. We get into Oasis, the third map.
Our map of the match.
Yeah, this was a good one. We take it all 3 on this one, too. So, point 1...
oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, for the first game we talked about, the map of the match is definitely that Kings Row map. Watch that one.
Definitely. Yeah,
that was
the Houston Glass map. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that was a good one. Especially Houston on defense, dude. If you want to see Dragon combo kills over,
if you need a tutorial,
that's how you do it, dude. Nothing could stop that one, man. It was insane. Sinatra finally coming alive on this one, I think. He's able to get a few just back-to-back kills after a fight that London most definitely should have won. It's kind of going back to the Shaz thing where, you're one of the only people left on the point, and Sinatra just cleans it up. Dude, it's insane to watch.
Round 1 is Gardens, by the way.
Yeah, Garden.
Yeah.
Yep. We did see him switch at one point to Brigitte. Brogan, yeah. And this is kind of weird because San Francisco, London doesn't switch off the dive, and we see how dominant Brogan can be against a pretty stubborn Genji. And, dude, dismantles that team.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's some pretty good plays here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get into point 2 where it looks like Shock is pretty confident going into this one.
Mm-hmm.
So confident, they say, hey, Sinatra, how about McCree? I don't play McCree. They're like, dude, you got this, buddy. You got this.
Yeah.
And he doesn't last on it very long. He does switch over to the Brogan at some point. About 40%. I think London's about 40% into it. And as you noted here, London just plays a standard dive comp.
Yeah, they tried again, which is surprising because they did the same thing on Gardens and didn't work out. So the fact that they did it here was interesting.
Yeah, right. I guess just being a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
And this is weird. Is this the first time on Oasis we don't see any Pharah? Or I guess we do get Architect on Pharah, right? And we get Prophet on the Pharah as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the Shock do actually take it back at 99%.
Yeah, but they have to burn all their ults to do it.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do.
And that's something we're going to see a lot with our control maps here, is that a lot of teams get in the situation where they're desperate and they have to burn all their ults, they sacrifice that economy, and it's kind of like a last-ditch effort, which makes sense. But usually it results in it flipping back very soon.
So London takes the second map. And then we get into City Center. You got a favorite out of these 3 you like to play?
I like University a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of University.
I do like City Center when
It feels different from every other one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like playing City Center when my Pharah is on. When my Pharah is off, I'm like, oh, this is bad. Because you can hide up on that top thing there.
The thing I'm seeing a lot now on City Center also, and I mentioned it here, is the Widow battles here. I never thought of City Center, and I don't know if it was in the earlier stages, as a Widow map, even though you do have the verticality, but the lines are so weird because the whole map is essentially rotating around this center point.
Yeah, it's a big circle, right?
Yeah, so you don't really have many options, and there's so many doorways and arches, like you don't really have many options for shots in between people moving from point to point.
Yeah. I actually see a lot of Widow v. Widow just the whole time they're looking for the other Widow. You don't see them going for the other team.
Oh, okay.
And you see that in Pharah maps a lot too, or Pharah v. Pharah, they're going for the other Pharah, and generally the Pharah that's dominant, and you see this with Hydration a lot, he'll ignore the other Pharah and say, hey, fuck it, I'm going to just kill your team.
Yeah.
Because you have to get 2 direct shots if they don't have a Mercy on them. So if you get one, it's difficult.
It's very difficult. Agilities does the same thing later on this week where he just ignores it. He plays out of his mind.
Yeah, forget it.
This week.
Who cares? I mean, like I said, you waste a lot of time and resources just to try to kill one Pharah. So
yeah.
London gets this to 99. Is that what I have written here?
Yeah. They do.
And then they flip it back, right? Shock flip it back at 99.
Yeah.
And able to finally just battle it out.
Which is weird because of this brawl, like Spitfire's not really a brawl team. They're a pick team. They get the picks and they make moves based off of that. So after they got that 99 flip, once San Francisco got that flip at 99, they swapped to a triple tank comp, which is weird for them. They swapped to, and they end up C9ing it too, which is interesting because they had 3 people alive, I believe, when they took the point.
They don't come down the stairs there.
Yeah, they were all fighting different fights, and it's just like it was rough.
Yeah. So San Francisco
staying alive.
Yeah, able to get a map off of them.
Yeah.
So
the Bee Gees.
Yeah. I love it. So that brings us into Dorado, and like a lot of double sniping going on.
I've never asked you, how do you feel about Dorado? Do you like Dorado?
I like Dorado a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like Dorado on attack point 1. I think the rest of the map is beautiful.
Okay.
I like the ups and downs. You can fight up top, you can go around, you can fight down on the street. Point 1 seems like a battle getting under that archway.
Yeah.
Especially if they got something they're spamming or they got an Orisa that's just putting shield
Yeah.
down. So, yeah, I don't know. Once you get past that, it's a lot of fun. So,
Somebody should rank all the gates on the
which one's
map.
worse?
Yeah, like what's the worst gates? We should rank them. I'll put out a ranking of top 10 worst gates.
I mean,
On
Dorada's
the
got to be
Reddit.
up there, right? Like, that's got to be a bad gate. I don't know.
It's a tough one because it's tiny.
You can go left. That sometimes not even great, right? Or you can kind of go around if you're like a flanker. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so we get London starting us off on the offense.
Yeah.
Take a early point one with a double sniper comp, which
Something they're more
we're seeing a little
comfortable
bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple teams doing this.
I would say, yeah, we're seeing a lot more. You know, I still put NYXL as the leaders of that movement.
Yeah, because we always saw Libero busting out the old Hanzo when no one was playing Hanzo. He's such a hipster.
Yeah, it's those glasses.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so we it's awesome because you get to see the Sonic arrow come out, and when even the Widow does not have sights, the Hanzo's opening up those those kind of sight lines for him against the other Widow. So it's kind of cool to see. But yeah, London started us off on offense. Jammed through point one pretty quickly, and uncontested in point two. They just are never touched in point two. They just get right through it, which is kind of crazy to see because we expect San Francisco to get back there real quick. Pretty consistent all three pushes, it seemed like. Ended with like a minute left on the time bank, which is pretty respectable. Not a fast time, but pretty quick. Only contested, it looked like, by Sinatra a lot of the time going into that one. So.
Yeah, and a lot of ball and chain. We're seeing a lot more ball and chain comps here, which is something I never thought would be as prevalent as we're seeing. But it works out, right? Because you have the halt from the Orisa, you have the pull from the Roadhog, and especially with the people that are playing Roadhog, a lot of them are really good right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of mixed comps around that as well, because we get to see a Bastion here at some point. We get to see another single hill comp, and then both teams use it at some point. But I think we forgot to mention though is Choi Hopin is here now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is the first time I guess we get to see him playing for the Shock, right?
They now have Nevix kind of riding the bench, which is interesting. I think they'll keep Nevix, obviously.
Yeah, so
because if they let him go,
from Shock, right? So we saw Nomi as their main tank originally, and then Nevix Nevix seemed like he was a pretty solid diva player going into it, but I don't know, man.
Nevix is known for playing he plays so many characters at a high level that he's like one of the great flex spots, and we talked about how flex spots are going to become more valuable as we move into season 2, so they have to hold on to him if they can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also a European player, I believe, which is something.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a ton of them. You get your Shadow Burns. You got some of the guys like Fraggy, obviously. A couple guys in Florida, but so we get Shock on offense, and not a big time bank for London. We got a minute left, and then Shock not much bigger of a time bank into it. They do get all 3 points.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy because this was almost reminiscent to the fact that where Houston was holding the Gladiators at point one, it looked like London was doing the same thing. It almost looked like a point one stop.
Yeah.
Until we do get to see a Diva Bomb. And, like, if a Diva Bomb ever gets 2 people, and you can't res one of them, I don't think they could res either one because one of them was the Mercy this time. It just turned the whole fight around.
Yeah.
It just puts you so far ahead as far as resources.
This, because you get that extra mech too, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of those bombs that I'm gonna try when I play later tonight, is because I never thought about that, about tossing a bomb on top of a roof and letting it slide as it blows up.
Oh yeah, that is cool. I would have never thought of that.
That completely throws off your ability to run away because you don't know what it's gonna do once it hits the roof.
Yeah, those are the scariest Diva bombs, right? You don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
And I'm a panic Diva bomb ult Got it.
Or even the ones where the arrow just looks like it's pointing up the whole time you're running around, so you have no frame of reference.
Yeah, sometimes I'm in spawn. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I should do it here, and that's never the right spot. Never do it in your spawn.
I had a Diva Bomb the other day where I forgot to hit boosters, and I'm looking where I wanted it to go, and it's sitting right in front of me, and I'm just like, shit. And we lost because I failed.
Ever tell you about the time I got... Well, I didn't get play of the game with a Diva Bomb. The Diva got play of the game because of me. I thought I was being cheeky, and you see Roadhogs hook Diva Bombs off of cliffs or into holes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I tried that on Eichenwald over the bridge on point 2. Pulled it right into my team. And the confidence level of my team went down through the roof. It turned silent. And I was in the play of the game. I stepped in
with the hard assist.
Yeah.
The alley-oop.
You see all these cool Roadhog plays all the time. Like, oh man, he grabbed the Diva Bomb, he moved it away. Nah, I brought it to the team. It's a little gift, a little parting gift. But yeah,
that's funny.
Getting back to Dorado, Shank also able to finish the map. So
yeah,
this is kind of cool. Always getting to see the second attacks on these teams. We don't see it very often. Yeah, pretty cool to see. London,
especially with a tiny time bank like this.
Yeah, this map sucks for this. I think maps like Gibraltar are a little bit better because with a tiny time bank, you're still able to do something.
Yeah.
London can't get under the bridge. They are halted there and just pretty much stopped. And Shock going into attack 2 where they just need to push it a little bit farther than the bridge. Able to do it. It looked like it was a good back and forth. I think the spawn...
That fight was insane.
It was insane.
This was one of my battles for map of the match, in my opinion. So if you can watch this one as well, go look at it.
Yeah.
Because the way it wraps up is very, very calculated. And the one thing that plays against them, which I think you're going to say, is that run back on defense for that spawn point.
It's just
too long.
Oh, yeah. The defense is just too far.
Yeah, the defense.
Because it looked like they were pretty even for the most part, but the reinforcements just so close, and it looked like, and I may be wrong about this, Architect on Widow, kind of just dancing on the point, just too small and skinny, just no one could hit him, and he was frisky. No one could kill him, dude. And he was getting picks, just sitting on the point. He knew he had to be there. So yeah, London fall to the San Francisco shop for the second map in a row. So was this the second map? Yeah, so we do go to a map 5. Yeah. We get a couple map 5s. I guess week 1, I'm so used to getting a lot of map 5s in stage 3. I guess with the new meta and stuff, people are trying to figure out. Yeah. A lot of dominant.
And there was that point where you saw the ladder kind of balance out outside of NYXL, but everybody else kind of become the same level of play and consistency, where you started to get more games getting pushed out, and as the map strategies became more concrete as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we do see a map 5 where San Francisco just squander all of their hard effort. It's crazy because we go into Nepal and the inside map, that's Sanctuary?
Sanctum. Yeah, Sanctum, the first one.
I can't ever remember these things.
Hey, I'll help you out, man.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. The one with the gap in the center thing. We see Shock take a really quick point from him, and then they... On Junkrat, and like I play a bunch of Junkrat, I love pushing up once you have the point, pushing up to that, almost to the spawn door. Not spawn doors, because you have that long run from spawn. Mm-hmm. You just spam in that little corridor that's behind the Risa shield.
Yeah.
Shock never pushes up. Never push up. They take a point 1, they get it to about 40%, sit on the point, and they just let London push into him. And then you know what London does? They push up to the fucking front and spam in with the Junkrat because it's so hard to get out when you have that Junkrat splashing so much damage in.
This is going to be on my ranking of top 10 gates I'll put out soon.
This is a shitty gate too, isn't it?
It's a shitty gate because your two options are so roundabout, and even one of your roundabout options puts you right behind the team. Yeah. So you're still in danger if they're pushed up on that door.
Especially because generally, if you do it as a team, they already know you're coming because they
Yes.
don't see you there. If
They
you
just
try to
turn
go
around.
solo, it's not like Counter-Strike or one of these other games where you can, get a quick
Grenade
kill.
a hallway, yeah, or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
just you can't do anything.
Satchel
So,
charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, London very smart here, pushed up right to the gate. Birdring on fire this entire
man.
time as far as the Widow is concerned. Doing some really aggressive plays too.
Yeah.
We see a lot of Widows sit in the back. We talked about it earlier. Birdring on fire. This whole set of maps.
That play he did with Widow where he grapples behind Architect, I
Yeah.
thought that's something you see Hanzos do when they charge up
Yeah.
their scatter, crawl up the wall, and then shoot scatter. And he did it with Widow where he's got that shot point blank and then sprayed him to death, and it was very impressive.
It was insane.
And
So yeah,
even gesture pulling. They were bullying Architect, which I think this is good. This is good for Architect because he's kind of pushing. They're showing their form. They're showing where he has to play at as far as when you want to play against. You want to be a good Widow because Architect's known for his Widow. This is what you're kind of rising up against.
Yeah, that whatever the Rissa suck thing is out of the map
Holt
there.
Yeah. That was funny.
Dude, that was insane because Architect still has grapple up. Oh my god, it was so funny.
Jester's still one of the best tanks, man.
Oh,
His
yeah,
tank play is
absolutely.
insane.
Yeah, he just needs consistent DPS to back him up every time they play, and dude, they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I think obviously we saw it in Stage 1 when they were at their peak. I think they were up there with NYXL. Little different play style, and that's great. I love seeing different things. So
yeah, I think I would say he's probably the best tank at cleaning kills up. Like if you need a couple, do that last 20 bit of damage, get that 40, he'll find that person.
Yeah.
And he'll deal with it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was sweet to see.
Yeah.
So we go to the second point, the
Shrines.
outside map. Yep, Shrines. Chuck, take point one again. Take point one again. I think they get a pretty heavy percentage going, and then kind of hand over the map, and Birdring still on fire, dude. Taking over on the McCree at this point. And a lot of times when we bring this up all the time when people are forced to switch over to McCree because, Tracer or a Fair or something like that, they're kind of on the back foot, right? Like we see Lixer, he's on the back foot a lot of times when he's having a force over McCree. Birdring not on the back foot.
No.
He finds heads. His team backs him up really well. I think that's a lot of the problems a lot of these teams have when they switch over to McCree. You almost have to fully commit to this character. He's so fucking fragile. It's not like where, especially in the new Hanzo can hop away and climb walls. McCree just has the roll. Like, that's his only source of defense besides the flashbang. And if you don't back him up like they backed up Birdring on this map, you would just lose with him. And he went off.
And Shrine is almost a specific map towards that respect play of picking McCree. Oh, excuse me. I got this burp sitting in my chest.
Yeah, just a lot of open area there on the outsides, for sure.
Yes, because people argue that Deadeye is probably the worst ult right now in the game. And when you have that space, if Architect and Moth have any decision where they try to make an aggressive play around the side and they don't get it, and he has Deadeye, they're pretty much caught. And that's a 2-for-1. So,
I would like to see McCree get re-kitted at this point.
Yeah, I could see some adjustments.
Maybe a double roll. Junker got the double. You don't have to reload on the second double. Whatever. Give him a little bit more maneuverability for sure. So that was map 5, and London able to squeak out the 3-2.
Yep. I don't know. That was a good match. I liked watching that one.
That was good. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted Chalk to win, but not upset that London did win.
Yeah, it shows that they're kind of getting back to, because somebody has to fight NYXL, right? And I don't know if the Shock are there yet. They had their shot.
Yeah. You would hope it'd be something internal, like NYXL fights NYXL.
They have to play themselves.
I don't know.
The Dark Universe version of themselves?
Yeah. Every time I turn on Pine's stream, he is so joyous, so happy. They're not getting in any arguments at that house.
It's crazy.
It's a nut.
House is just built on money.
Yeah, well, $200,000 at this point. Jesus.
All right, so we get our next day. We start this week off with San Francisco beating us up. I didn't watch this match. I'm not going to watch this match. I don't want to hear anything about this match. I don't know what happened, but 4-0, San Francisco against Houston Outlaws. And then we go into the next match of the day, and we'll leave it at that. NYXL versus the struggling Shanghai. Or sorry, you see, I said struggling, so I immediately wanted to say Shanghai Dragon. But no,
I would have believed you. I'd be like, oh, yeah.
The Seoul Dynasty.
Also struggling, though, honestly.
Also struggling. But they're back. It seems like they're back. Miro's back. Miro's back in the lineup. We have Ryu Jae-hong back in support. It seems like everything on the management side and outside of the game has been resolved. And now they're back to focusing on playing the game, and they still got beat up, though. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's NYXL. They're on another level, man. They keep excelling. We haven't seen them drop the ball once. Maybe next season when there's more teams in the league. Because they're supposed to be I think 4. I think they want to put 4 more teams in. We'll see how that works out. I'm sure there'll be more news coming out.
Yeah.
We can chat about that towards the end.
I do have one tidbit from our last match.
Okay.
Jake went 19-39. 39 times. He died 39 times. All right, that's all I had. That's the only.
I didn't need that. That's gonna make. You see, you ruin this for the viewers because now I'm not gonna care about any of this stuff I'm saying.
Wait. Now, actually, Architect 58-18.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's nasty. All right.
Yeah, we can get our feature match.
All right, I'm tired of your shit. You know what? All right, Boston Uprising versus Los Angeles Valiant. The crowd was hyped for this one. I was hyped for this one because it looks like Boston's still in sort of a rut, but they're coming out of it. LA Valiant have been on fire lately since their changes, and they've been playing really well together.
Do you see the guy in the crowd that said, or wrote on a sign, I drove 600 miles to see Boston play? And this is after information. I already knew who had won this match. I'm thinking this whole fucking time, like, oh, dude.
Surprise, surprise.
You fucked up, man.
That's a lot of miles. That's a lot of gas.
Why didn't you fly?
At what point is it cheaper? Man, that's crazy. I would be pissed as hell if I flew this far.
Yeah, no joke.
But yeah, let's hop into it.
Yeah.
First map, Kings Row. Boston Rising used to be known for playing really well on this map.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. LA Valiant, this is similar to how Houston came out in the previous one we talked about. Very strong, right? They start with double snipe comp, perform very well. Boston looks weird from the get-go. They play that point, that perch that we always talk about, and LA Valiant essentially just walks in. They're playing double snipe. They walk in, really no picks, and just sit on point.
Yeah.
And Boston Uprising don't jump down. They just kind of watch them.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, even the commentators were like, are they going to contest point? It's not until 2 ticks.
Yeah, and actually fucks them up that they do try to contest it because they just take advantage. They're like, oh, well, shit, now they are forced to try to get on this point, and they just kill them.
Yeah, you force their hand. It's like you had an option, and there was that option. Now you have to do what they need you to do.
It almost makes me wonder who's calling the shots, right? And a lot of these.
Now that you make that, I don't know who calls the shots on Boston Uprising anymore.
Yeah, I guess if they're not diving, they don't know how to call the shots, right?
Yeah, I guess they're still kind of. I mean, it's hard to have that run they had, and then for us to say, okay, now they have problems, or they're not communicating well. It's like you just won 10 games.
Yeah.
Like you're doing something right.
Right. It's a little bit slower to, and they the commentators had brought this up during this match where a bulk of these teams had at least a few of the players had played together in contenders or other teams. Yeah. So meta switching for them was not that big of a deal. They just figure out who plays certain roles, something like that. Where Boston is this hand-picked team. You get, 8 players, never played with each other before. So switching to a different meta for these guys is probably a lot more difficult than, let's even say, Dallas Fuel. Both of those players played together for a long time.
Even in Florida, a lot of those guys played together.
Absolutely. So meta switches for those guys, not as difficult.
That makes sense.
A little bit of a learning curve when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they were kind of built around being just an aggressive dive composition. We saw it especially in the early stages where they would dive a lot pretty aggressively, even on defense. Defensive Hanamura, they were outside the gate.
If I remember correctly, the first two people they signed were Mistakes and Striker.
Yeah.
Which are two Tracer players, which is an interesting approach, right? Which means they're obviously gambling on that dive.
Yeah.
One thing that comes into play is, I wonder how much the organizations themselves had the fact that meta will shift in the back of their mind when they were composing these teams.
Well, they've got to know this kind of thing. I mean, we see it with League of Legends, not so much with Counter-Strike, but Overwatch is a first-person shooter MOBA, is what they kind of designed. So they want to have a constantly rotating meta where things are different, because it gets stale. If we see dive comp for a year, I thought it was getting stale. I want to see different things. I want to see Hanzo. I want to see Junkrat and these different. I don't ever want to see Symmetra. Don't fuck with me, Ryan.
Somebody said that a build comp's coming, or a build meta's coming at some point.
No, they can build themselves off a cliff. I don't want to see that shit. But
sounds like somebody's been playing too much Fortnite.
Yeah, I definitely want to see. We want to see change in Boston. Obviously, one of those teams that's struggling to make those changes. I think they'll get to that point. A lot of talented players on that team. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, here we see a case where they are struggling to get that momentum going. One thing that stood out was Note Zarya's not that great. He had a lot of botched gravitational surges, and he just was not on point. It seemed like his bubbles were lacking. He was dying an awful lot. Just all around didn't look comfortable on the character.
Yeah. It's crazy because Boston on offense here looked pretty good. They do dive. They get about halfway through point 2, and then they let Kareev, who we know is one of these guys that begged to be on support, especially Zenyatta for a long time. He comes around the corner, and you're like, oh, dude, there's no way Boston does not get 2.3, getting down that hill. And then Kareev comes around this corner, gets a couple headshots on Zenyatta, and it turns the fight around.
Yeah.
Nuts.
His inner Shaz, right?
Yeah.
Shaz is so good. Go look up his stats, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I only
they
look
speak
at
for
one
themselves.
thing on the Gladiators team, and that's Big Goose's hair. But
it's getting better, man. Like his hair gets bigger and it gets better.
It's better.
It has like a natural swoop to it.
It's just getting aggressive, is what it is.
It does what it wants.
Yeah.
People love the Goose, man.
It's its own entity at this point. So.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head where Los Angeles Valiant, they just keep moving the cart. There is no stall really here because Boston refuses to contest the cart. And then the one moment they do when Los Angeles Valiant is heading towards point 3, they just use a Space Dragon to keep the momentum going, and they literally can't get out of spawn fast enough to recontest.
Yeah.
And all that being said, they capped with 341, which isn't ridiculous. It's still a lot of time. And then on attack for Boston, they try to do the same double snipe, but Valiant just do the same double snipe back and just outplay them. Really, Agility's playing really well on Hanzo, which you can tell me Agilities was a Hanzo player. We've seen his Pharah a lot. We've seen his Genji a lot. We know those are impressive. But the Hanzo was definitely something that caught me off guard.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's actually a really cool spot on the Valiant defense where, you see those old Westerns where everybody's dead and there's only one or two guys left.
Yeah.
After a big fight. And Soon is one of the last guys alive on the card at one point, and you're like, this guy's gonna die. It's a one widow versus whoever's left for Boston, and he kills them all, man. It's like a showdown. It kind of sucks that it wasn't McCree, thematic and whatnot, but it looked like one of those big brawls. Two grabs come out, like a Dragon Ball Z fight or some shit. And
it was
the last one standing.
It was one of those points where the commentators are talking about something completely different, and you see the top right, and you just see Soon's name constantly, and they're like, wait, what is Soon doing? And they show the replay. Soon, man, his play has. It's funny. He's kind of more from this baseline. I'm gonna say baseline consistent. In like earlier stages, he was consistent, but he wasn't crazy or over the top or clutch.
Right.
And
because
then
we saw
now,
a lot more Tracer than we.
yeah, exactly. But now seeing him play so many different characters and stepping up to the plate in situations, he's a clutch player, man. Like he's definitely
Absolutely.
one of the top DPS and has a place in the league if he keeps this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Los Angeles Valiant take that one. I want to say Boston really gives it to them rather than them taking it. And then we move into Hanamura. And, here's a case where we see more ball and chain comp, which is something I did not expect. I think most people didn't expect it to stick around. Especially there's no Junkertown in this map rotation either. So it's one of those cases like, okay, well, how are people going to use this? And, Los Angeles Valiant use it really well compared to other teams.
Yep.
Here we get the first thing we see is we get to see Soon get this stick on Mistakes, who's stationary, but then runs into Striker and blows up.
Yeah, actually grapples right into him.
Yep, grapples right into Striker.
That's a really cool play, too. A lot of people don't think about that. Because that's like reaction number one, right, for if you're on a Widow.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, get out. Gets out and kills his teammate.
And I've done that on Diva before where I get the bomb stuck on me, know I'm not going to die, but fly into my team. Oh, man, awesome. They love you for that. That builds morale.
Yeah.
But but Los Angeles Valiant get a real quick 0.1, something like 6 minutes or something like that.
Oh, this was aggravating to watch.
Yeah, this is one of those ones we talk about that get aggravating, and then they struggle. They struggle for a long time on 0.2, and to the point to where they just use alt economy to their advantage, and they still are unable to get through that defense. It's part of it is they try to swap a lot here.
Yeah, they definitely do. See, Brogan come out a couple times. Multiple times, and then switched back from agilities. Goes to Brogan, doesn't work, goes back to the Genji. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting to see all these teams use Brogan and see some teams that just doesn't work for. Like some teams just don't. The Brogan is not their cup of tea, regardless of which formation they use with her. So they have a problem here doing it, but it turns out it doesn't matter, right? Because we go to attack for Boston, and they have a hard time getting through that gate, man.
Stubbornness.
They try that Widow dive comp where they have Mistakes grapple to the middle top of the gate, and he just sits up there and gets nothing done.
Yeah.
And they keep bashing their head against it. It's not working, and time runs out.
Yep. This was worse than watching the 0.2 for Valiant.
Yeah, exactly.
Boston continuously trying to dive incorrectly onto Valiant, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, they need to figure something out.
Yeah.
In that dive situation, especially in this new meta on how they want to shift. So then we get to move into our first control map. We have Oasis here, where things do turn around a little bit. Boston gets a lot more comfortable. We get to see the pharmacy comps kind of come out, which we're seeing a lot more is on the control maps in these rotations. Pharmacy does play well here. And then, against Brogan, your pharmacy is also a go-to. One thing we get to see on the round one, which is on Gardens, is that, Soon makes that swap to McCree and does a pretty solid job in assisting with handling that Striker. Striker is a good, and that's one thing here. Striker's an all right Pharah, but you do have Agilities here who causes a lot of trouble for him because Agilities is known as one of the better Pharahs. Boston's able to squeak this Gardens one out real quick, and then we move into City Center where, Los Angeles Valiant keep it interesting, and that initial fight takes forever. I think that initial fight was probably like a minute and a half where no team, like both teams are fighting on the point, no team's really giving it up. You have a lot of people stalling and stalling back in, and that clock never really gets ticking. And then once Boston's able to cap it, it takes until about 82% for Los Angeles Valiant to get it back. City Center's known for being difficult to flip the point from whoever has it first. But the thing is, like we talked about, Agilities is real solid on that Pharah, and he wins the air battle here, and then Soon is killing it on Tracer because he doesn't get to play it as much. I assume that when he does get to play it, he likes to show out and have a good time because he doesn't know when you're gonna be back on it, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this meta. So yeah, Los Angeles Valiant take that one on City Center, and then we move into University. One of the better ones. Both teams go with that. What seems to be the University comp that Philadelphia Fusion was real good at in the earlier stages, which is the Rhine, Zarya, McCree, Pharah, Zen Mercy comp. And Soon's Mistakes here have some pretty clutch plays on McCree. It's almost like they're both the point guards here. They're going back and forth with 2Ks, good ults on both sides, but most of the fights end up working out in the Boston's favor, and they get that percent pretty high. And even though Agilities does have some clutch ults, he has one sick corner ult where he's sitting behind there. They're not really gates; they're the two doors leading towards the middle point, and he's sitting behind one of the doors, and he concussions himself up instead of flying up, and then boosts up, and then uses his boost, and then ults and gets a 3K there. But the problem is that Boston Uprising follows up after that with an overwhelming fight because ult economy works in their favor from that earlier cap. Absolutely. And they're able to close that one out and keep themselves alive, man.
Yeah, Mistakes, man. If he played like this every map, they would be much better off because, dude, he was dominant in those McCoy battles against Soon. I mean, it looked like there was a lot of back and forth, but he was also putting a lot of pressure on the other team members of the Valiant as well.
Yeah. So then we get into Dorado, and we have both teams kind of sitting on that sniper comp again because Dorado does have those sight lines. You get a lot of sniper battles here. But man, was Mistakes playing really well. I didn't know he had a Hanzo like this. I knew he would play the Widow when they needed it. But here he's letting the Striker play the Widow. He's playing the the Hanzo, and he's getting a lot of picks. Like there's really not a situation where Los Angeles Valiant gets to play a straight up fight. And we see here on attack, especially on point 2, where they're doing dive comp. And if you don't have all the pieces for your dive comp, it doesn't matter. Before they're even able to get to that gate when you're running back from that spawn for point 2 on attack, they're getting picked off. Like behind the carts and behind the food carts and everything, right? Yep. Forces this kind of, his Mistakes playing so well, forces Soon to swap to Widow. And still he can't really win out that battle. And the only thing they're able to do is to burn ults to get through that stall point for point 2. They cap point 2, but are unable to get around that corner for point 3. So that's where we leave it. And then on defense, we have Los Angeles Valiant using the Ball and Chain Brogan comp, where they're using her as a triple support, the third support, and then BU still doing their double snipe comp on attack. And they cruise through for they get to point 3 with 4 minutes, I think, something like that. And then once they get that final, or they get a fight that's the first legitimate fight since they've been running through the map. Striker gets a sick 3K bomb, and Striker kills everybody else, and then they're able to cap it. They kind of just walk it in. So that was definitely an interesting turnaround. I guess you can see the ramp up where Boston Uprising started off really struggling as far as getting that momentum. That control map Oasis was really where they got that head of steam and that motivation, the momentum there, and then they took that to Dorado and ran with it. And then we get in the final map 5. Avoid map 5s at all cost.
Yeah,
take it from a team that I think is like 0-10 on map 5s. I don't think we win map 5s. I don't know the last one we won. But anyways, here we go. So we get in Nepal. And this one's weird, right? So there's a situation where Los Angeles Valiant, they win a fight, right? They win the fight. Mistakes is still hanging out kind of to the left of their team or to the right of their team where they're facing, and they don't notice he's there. And he just starts swinging and building essentially Brogan ult, and he gets ult, and then BU flips the point.
Almost immediately too.
Yeah, because he pops ult right when they all get back. So now they have a full team, full Brogan ult. And then they flip the fight back, and then they flip point. And it wasn't until Los Angeles Valiant came back, burned their ults at about 97%, were they able to kind of close that out. And it's because of Agilities. Agilities is pretty much carrying this. Man, he was doing well the rest of this match. And here he's like, game 5, okay, we're winning this one, right? We're the home team, technically. So we got to show him what's up.
Yeah, I think he gets... I don't know if he got 4 barrages. I know he definitely got 3, which is kind of unreal on a map like this too, right? It's generally pretty quick if it's even if it's back and forth. Barrage, one of those ultimates is kind of hard to perform too because you're like, whoa, dude, I can barrage, but I'm probably gonna die. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's rare you see a full barrage get off.
Yeah. Yeah, and he actually does one on the point, gets down to like 40 HP, and you're like, oh, well, shit, he got 2. He's about to sacrifice himself. They are able to get him back up to full health, and he still continues to kill people. Builds up another barrage before they get back to the point again.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's insane.
Yeah,
I think they said at the end of the map he has like 10 or 11 kills, and everyone else, including Phil, or who we're playing here, Boston, has like 4 kills. Even people in Los Angeles, Boston, not very many kills spread across the board. He's dominant with like 10 or 11.
Yeah. Yeah, man, definitely impressive here. And then we get into Shrine, where, you know, he gets to play Pharah again. And between his Pharah and Soon's Widow, you know, we talked about this in the previous match, right? Where you have, who was it? Who are we talking about? It was, I can't remember. I think we're talking about Bird Ring. Like, just when, the way Bird Ring's able to create space there, because we talked about Soon now not playing as much Tracer because of the meta shift.
Oh, yes,
you know,
yes, so.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing with Widow, where he's like taking, I think he's actually like studying these other players that play these roles, because it was a kind of thing here where he was creating that space, and with the way Agilities is playing on Pharah, you can't deal with both of them, and you have to deal with both of them, right?
Right.
Boston has a hard time it's pretty much a steamroll here, because until 99%, they have to burn ult to flip, which is pretty much their last trump card. And any team that has to burn ult like that, you give up ult economy, you're already behind on percentage, and then Agilities gets a 3K right after they do that on the follow-up fight, and that's pretty much all she wrote. They flip it back, and no more. The commentator said, Hex was like, no more in and out for Agilities.
Oh, Jesus.
Chat loved that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. So Los Angeles Valiant close it out, dominating fashion to show that they deserve to win this one.
Yeah, keeping it close, man.
Almost a reverse sweep there.
I kind of thought this would be a 3-1 maybe. I don't know. I did not think this was going to go to 5. After watching the first 2 maps, I was like, well, Los Angeles obviously just the dominant team in this. Boston giving them a little bit of trouble in map 3 and 4 for sure.
Yeah, man, it was definitely an interesting watch. And one thing to note here that I have is, Fate. They talk about Fate still one of the top tanks when it comes to participation. And that's important, right?
Yeah.
You want your tanks there, as we remember Fraggy. Whenever Fraggy died, it caused issues for Philadelphia, because he wasn't there to participate. So Fate's still showing his worth there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely played into the whole thing of them being successful here and allowing his team, allowing Agilities and Soon just really stepped up here as the duo. So Los Angeles Valiant putting it down.
We get in the last day of the week, Saturday. Going into this, I really thought, especially watching London earlier in the week, I thought it would be pretty dominant over Seoul. Seoul able to take 2 maps off London, but London able to squeak it out with a 3-2 victory for our first map of the day. And then a hard-fought battle by the Shanghai Dragons versus New York. I'm trying to kid myself here. Did anyone on the New York team die? I want to go to Winston Labs at this point to see if anybody even died. Because this is, it's not even a Clash of the Titans. It's like a Clash of the Titan versus something that's not a Titan. I can't think of anything.
Oh, that was a good one. Nice.
Yeah.
You can go. You're on it, man. You're just a master of words.
Of words.
Wordsmith.
A wordsmith, if you will. Yes, right. I am a literary genius, if you will.
Titan versus not Titan.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop picking on you.
This is because of the damn Gladiators game earlier in the week.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get them in where you can. So we get our feature match, which when I picked this earlier in the week, it's because we hadn't got to see Philly or Dallas play.
Yeah.
Did not see it going this way. Even with,
anybody.
Like I said, we picked this at the end of the week, or, beginning of the week. This was before we knew Dallas had literally shit on Boston from a high. And then now, coming in pretty dominant against Philly, we get to start off with Kings Row. my favorite map, besides this new one, obviously.
Yeah.
Where, man, dude, glad to see my boy Siegel back on the Hanzo. I used to watch a ton of Siegel stream, played a ton of Hanzo, dominant. Even when Hanzo was not favored.
Yeah.
He crazy at this guy. And, he plays the diva as well. Dallas, dude, just jammed through all three. Pretty much uncontested. I can't remember exactly how much time they had left. It doesn't really matter. Philly doesn't do anything at all on offense. Philly maybe get 4 or 5 elims total, I think they say. I want to point out, no Fraggy in the lineup at all on any of these maps.
Yeah.
It's all Ito. We do see EQO in the first 2 maps. And just uncontested all the way through the first offensive line for Dallas. Just nothing going on the Philly defense. Carpe is pretty much the only one in the kill feed.
He's so good.
He is very good. It's just, man, he's a little guy. You can't put the whole team on his back.
Exactly.
Have you seen Fraggy? He's a big dude. Big, burly dude. But yeah, so Philly offense, like I said, not much going on there. They have a terrible looking comp. Really no synergy to it all. It looked like a half dive, half sniper comp going on. Just nothing as far as coordination goes.
Yeah.
They do take the point 1 pretty quickly, but just never able to. I think it's a 5-minute hold, 4-minute hold for Dallas, where Mickey, and like I said, I don't know if one person can literally shit on an entire team of players. You have to go to Golden Corral or something, some kind of meme like that to acquire this much mass. But he, very dominant. It looked like Philly, they were on the back burner, obviously, on their defense, but it looked like they were going to get into point. They were going through point 2, point 3. As soon as Mickey switches over to the Brogan, nothing is able to get through. Dude, it's insane watching this dude play it, because they set up these combos where you get to see the Rhine, Brigitte, god damn it, Brogan combo where, they're stunning them, and the shatter's coming through. Dude, it's so cool to see, because at one point, Dallas is able to stun the entire team, and it's just this over and over until, they're pretty much stopped. A 5-minute time bank from Philly, nothing happens. Just halted there.
It's one of those cases where early on, Dallas Fuels were experimenting with Brogan probably the most out of most of the teams.
Yeah,
and people were real skeptical of what they were trying to do, what they were trying to play around with, and they were already a team that was having problems, right? So the fact that Mickey has kind of refined it to a point where, there's now a point to where people have stopped saying, "Oh, Brogan's broken, she's broken," and now you can respect anybody who's playing her well, because some teams are trying to use her and they can't. And to see this is very impressive, especially from this team. I'm looking at the predictions here, and there was 83% thought that Philadelphia was gonna win
absolutely.
it.
Philly hadn't lost a game up until this, right? They had lost some maps, but I think this is their first loss in stage 4. Which is kind of crazy coming to Dallas. But Dallas, like you had mentioned, is one of these teams that wasn't diving in the first couple of stages. They were trying some weird Roadhog stuff, some big tank comps. This might be their meta. This might be, because it's kind of all over the place. You're not playing, each team's not playing the exact same comp over and over. But yeah, so Dallas wraps up Kings Row pretty handily, 3-1. Taking all 3 points, giving Philly 1. And then we get into Hunnam Row, where Dallas starts us off, and what they thought might have been the biggest time bank on point 2, only short by 8 seconds. Dallas Fuel take point 1 very quickly. Take point 2, 6 minutes, 30 seconds left. 6 minutes, 30 seconds. What do you... As a Philly player, I'm trying to imagine what you're saying to you. You're like, oh, we got this. We can do the same thing.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, you're like, we can't do this.
That's a lot of time on Hanamura.
Yeah, that is a ton of time. Yeah, like I said, 6 minutes, 30 seconds left. They don't even get point one. Philly is stopped at that shitty gate for 4 minutes where Dallas just starts off with a Brogan.
Yeah.
Mickey on the Brogan and just never lets them get through the gate. So, pretty rough. Pretty rough to watch.
That's
and
funny.
This is a map that we get to see Siegel on. And EQO being the main DPS on Philly, quiet through first two maps, gets pulled, and we finally get to see Shadowburn, who we haven't seen.
Oh, he's still. How do you know? It's always one of those cases like, hey, is Shadowburn's still alive? Would it be funny if they sent him back to Korea? Like, he's not even Korean.
Yeah.
But that's just like the trope
Just
now.
what they do, yeah.
It's like when they inactivate
Shadowburn's
somebody.
like, I don't speak Korean. I'm trying to do a Russian accent. I know.
I know
Russia.
you're doing a terrible job, but your heart's in it.
Yeah. So yeah, they send him back, and he's stuck there. They can't do anything. But man, he comes out with vengeance on map 3, Lee James Tower, because they 2-0 Dallas here, and it's pretty dominant on Legion Tower because Shadowburn, and they do pan to him quite a few times. His Pharah play compared to Siegel, and Siegel, pretty notorious Pharah player, projectile player. His Pharah play on point. I would like to see his weapon accuracy at the end of this, especially the first inside map where we never see Pharah. What's that first one called?
The first inside map.
The
Command
technical
Center.
name. Yeah, okay, Command Center. Yeah, right, because there's a Command Center in the middle of it. That makes a lot of sense. Generally just don't see Pharah at it. And, dude, he does not miss any of these rockets. Dude, he's just popping these guys. So pretty handily. I don't think that Dallas even contests the point at any point. So, yeah. Where we take it to point 2, Shadowburn's still just dominant on this map. At one point where Dallas is going to take the point, he makes a quick sneak around the entire team and catches Siegel midair. And like I said, a lot of these Pharahs that are doing well don't ever worry about it, but he 2-taps Pharah really quickly, and then while Harry is trying to res Philly or Siegel up, he kills Harry Hook right off the bat. So pretty insane.
You know what? It's one of those cases where, like, I feel like, I wonder if players like Siegel are in a rough spot, right? Where you end up on this team that's essentially having a lot of issues from day one. You're one of the faces of Overwatch at this point. I mean, the game's, officially 2 years old now, with the anniversary event going on. But you're in this place where, like, you have to. I couldn't see Siegel being like, okay, I'm not doing Overwatch League anymore. I don't think the fans would have it. I don't think the league would have it. Well, he's not in the best situation, but he's done so much where he's tried to play the flex role. He swapped a tank. He played the bench for a while, and it's like things like that, right?
Yeah.
Where he's kind of going above and beyond where from how he used to speak about being pro and his past experience, something he probably didn't sign up for, but now he's kind of been grandfathered into. Does that sound weird?
No. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, especially because he's a player that could easily sit on Twitch and stream all day.
Oh, make hella money.
Yeah, I mean, easily making. I guarantee he would make more than he would in the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
But his commitment to competition is higher than that, and I respect that a lot. I mean, he didn't get that out of XQC, who is also a very, very good player, especially in that main tank role. We didn't get to see it out of that, and I'm glad we get to see it out of Siegel, because like I said, Dallas has been struggling for 4 stages, and Siegel, who easily could go by the wayside, stream the rest of his career, Overwatch career, retire, doing this kind of thing. And still competing on characters he probably didn't want to. He probably never wanted to play D.Va.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we need a D.Va player. He hopped on it, and he's doing really well on it. And not on this map, but he very consistent, especially on a character that he hasn't played before.
Yes.
Up until this up until this Overwatch League has gotten started.
Yeah.
So that brings us into map 4. Currently Dallas up 2-1 to Philly, so they really need to take this one down. Because Philly going to 5, that's when Carpe starts to get into his groove, and he's hungry for it. You got to win this map. So we go to Gibraltar, where we see Dallas get to start on the offensive. The double sniper, Seagull on the Hanzo. Like I said, love seeing this guy on the Hanzo.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those guys that was on the front runner of this character, and really good at it. Gets a huge dragon at the very beginning of point 1. Where he has got everybody bottled up in the back corner of point 1 and sends a dragon through it and kills everybody. Kind of goes silent after that because he didn't need to do anything because Timu, I always rip this guy's name up. Timu, yeah. Rips.
Just call him Brogan.
Everybody's going to be so confused. Yeah, Timu takes over. Uncontested on point 3, up on that bridge, headshot after headshot, able to squeak it in with well over a minute left. And that's really all you want to do in Gibraltar is at least make it to 3, right?
Yeah.
Because it is very difficult. And Philly mimics the same thing. They go into their offensive fight with double sniper as well.
Does under that bridge count as a gate?
Ooh, that's a big ass gate.
It's a hard one. Because it's a valley.
It is. I think, though, with how much the tanks can maneuver around that top, and maybe not Orion. It's very difficult for Orion to hop up on that thing. He's a big dude. I don't know, because those kind of tanks are forced underneath, right? So, it's a gate. It's a gate for sure. Not the worst gate, though.
Probably in the top 5.
Yeah, maybe.
List coming soon. Keep your eyes out.
And we're going to do a gate poll.
Gate poll.
But yeah, Philly kind of mimicked the same thing that Dallas did. They able to get point 3, Carpe being the dominant Widow versus Taimu throughout their attack. It just comes down to a last push for both teams where Philly is stopped pretty early up on that hill by a Seagull 2K. Like I said, Seagull able to switch not only from a Hanzo to a Diva on defense. Gets a big 2K on Boombox and Shadowburn on the Hanzo that kind of stops their fight where, man, the Dallas just doesn't stop on their offensive, their second offensive. They just roll right through it, and Philly just never contests at the very end there. I want to say it's a C9. Everyone says it's a C9 when no one gets back to the cart.
Yeah.
People are still alive. They just can't get back to the point.
Yeah. Man, I would have never thought. Like, we've seen other teams do this run, but Dallas Fuel has had the most going on. Because Dallas Fuel had shit going on when, Los Angeles Valiant stuff started. And Los Angeles Valiant got through their debacle, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And then when you had the Boston Uprising shenanigans happen, they got through that pretty quickly.
Yep.
It's just a case where you're like, even when Houston was kind of down in the dumps, you saw them come back. But Dallas Fuel from day one has not solved any of their problems, from what I can see. And the fact that they're able to play like this now, I can only imagine finishing up the season, going into season 2, what they're going to be like.
Yeah, I'm glad
if they've really figured it out.
Yeah, right. I'm glad they at least have a good core of 6 guys now that play every map. We didn't see AKM at all on any of these maps. Because we saw
OG
timing.
either.
No, we saw OGE. Yeah, as their main tank throughout this entire thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Who is their other main tank? Coco. We don't see Coco at all. I don't see Coco getting into season 2. I hate to be that kind of person. I don't see, and you sent me that that damn age thing earlier. All the ages of all the Overwatch League players, and Coco, he's at the top. He's getting old. He's not as old as me, but he's getting up there.
Yeah. And it's one of those cases where we knew from early on how both the organization and the team kind of felt with Coco, where it's kind of like they signed him so quickly, and then they weren't very impressed
Yeah.
from that point forward,
Yep.
and they just didn't know what to do with him. And I think he's going to fall by the wayside. I don't really see him making it on anybody else's bench. I see him falling into contenders or just kind of falling out.
I think this guy is definitely going to get a coaching position. He
You
seems
think?
like he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Okay.
I've watched him stream. He seems like he knows a lot about the game.
Okay, I've
The
never watched
problem
him
is-
stream.
The older you get, those mechanics, man, they dry up.
Yeah.
Not to be too bitter and old, but I'm not what I used to be, Ryan.
I'm not what I used to be.
No, but seriously, I mean, you're just gonna have young gunners out here that are quicker, but they just don't have. They might not have the brains or the strats for the game.
Yeah.
But mechanically, they're there. Coco will fill a role in a coaching position on a team.
I think Chip might be out too, man.
Yeah, Chip. Poor
There,
Chip.
man. Chip was like, yeah, I remember when he came, like when the season started, people were like, yo, Chip's gonna do some crazy shit on Zen, man. Get ready for it.
Oh,
Chip's coming for you.
I actually wanted to bring that up. We obviously we talk about Jonak a lot of times, and we talk about Shaz being a good Zenyatta. I cannot wait for the day in this league where every Zenyatta looks like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be insane, man. It's just gonna be scary.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. I was thinking about that earlier when I was watching Shaz play. I was like, oh shit, dude. Or Kareev play on the last.
Oh yeah.
Valiant.
Kareev's getting
He
getting
gets
nasty
those
as
picks
well.
too, man. He's no Jonak, but dude, he gets some picks. But yeah, so that wraps it up. Dallas takes a 3-1. Kind of unexpected. I would like to see the predictions on that one too. It probably didn't go that. Oh, we did talk about that, right? It was 80-20.
Yeah. People
Yeah,
would have
that's
lost a lot of money on that one.
Oh yeah, I did lose a lot of money on that one. I don't want to. Yeah.
You gotta tell me who your books guy is.
Oh, dude, he's in jail already.
He's already locked up.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
so that wraps up week 2 of Stage 4.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
It
kind
was
of
an
a long
interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt long. Even watching the games, it's like, man. I mean, this episode is pretty dense. We kind of been going for a while.
Yeah.
One of our longer episodes, but a lot happened, and it's important. It's been important for a while, but now we're getting to the end of it, man. Because we have three more weeks left
Yep.
until the
Yep.
whole shebang starts. And then we can start getting into All-Star Weekend talks and MVP talks and all the fun stuff.
Jonak. We don't need to have that talk.
You think he's a lock?
I'll riot, Ryan. I'll fucking riot.
I think everybody agree. Like who? If it's not Jonak, it's SPV,
XQC,
right?
T-Mobile XQC.
XQC.
Yeah, he got voted during the World Cup.
Get out of here.
Yeah, dude. It was kind of a shit show because it was like fan created. He just happened to have the most fans. Yeah, so.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's got to be
Whatever.
Jonak, right? But yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, let's. You want to wrap it up?
Oh yeah, let me get the old. What is it? The contact list. We're gonna keep it short though. We're not gonna do anything crazy.
Definitely rate and review on iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
That's my bet.
Yeah, and then we're on SoundCloud, we're everywhere you can be heard. We're on YouTube. Just look for the Bird Watchers. The only different one is Twitter, where Bird Watchers is spelled WATCH3RS. And then reach out to us at the Bird Watchers Podcast at gmail.com. Questions, stuff like that. We're gonna try to do a giveaway again. Hopefully more of you guys are listening to try to get this free money, since we just have it sitting here.
Yeah.
But yeah, until then, definitely that gate. I really want to know what people think. I'll definitely be on the forums tomorrow.
See what the worst
people-
gate is.
See what their top 5 gate list is.
Yeah. Can we do
there's
a
a lot
worst
of them.
skin too at some point?
The worst skin. Yeah, man. Why not?
Yeah, because we've got a bunch of skins coming out now from the anniversary.
Yeah,
There's gotta
they're
be
getting-
a worst skin, right?
That Tracer one causing.
Did you see that Doomfist one?
Woo! Oh
That was
man, it's
hot.
so good, so good.
It's so good, yeah.
But yeah, between the Tracer one and the Somber one earlier,
Oh,
with
God,
the
dude,
with
I
the
felt
hairpiece,
so bad. The Tracer
wig.
was hideous.
They should just gave it to
I gotta
people.
fucking buy it, yeah. I
Yeah.
gotta buy it, but I don't want to. Yeah, it was
I
bad.
don't know.
Oh yeah,
All
shout out
right.
to the Lizard King editor.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, listeners, man. Thanks for. We're having a lot more people respond on like Reddit and stuff like that. People are enjoying it, so we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna try to keep doing it better.
Yes, sir.
I'm so tired. Memorial Day weekend. Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Take it easy, guys.
Adios.
I have destroyed more of your kind than I can count.